All right. So this is basically all my clinic, okay? Front and back, that's essentially what I cover in the clinic. And I use these specifically, I honestly do use these for my clinic. I do use these for treatments. So what I share is not just knowledge, okay? This is what I do in the clinic, okay? And what I do in the clinic, I start with the framework. Okay, I need a framework in order to fit people's stories, including my story. Okay, everybody has a little story, right? We don't have cancer just because we have cancer. Okay, we don't have PTSD just because all of a sudden we have PTSD, right? We all have something that comes in. So the first thing I do is to say this. I spent 7 years on this to say, okay, what? This is second version of this thing. Is I need a model that will fit people in, okay? At least 99% of the people in, okay? So this is my model so far, okay? So we have 5 senses, okay? Ear, eye, nose, tongue, and the body. So these 5 senses is what we do to receive the external stimulus. This is how we see, how we perceive the outside world. This is how trauma comes in, words and behaviors and whatever, right? That comes into our being, okay? And then we have thought, okay? So 5 senses plus our thoughts actually goes into our brain system. Okay, so it comes into our brain system. First, it goes into our reptilian brain. Okay, our reptilian brain. So we're all familiar with these brain systems, right? We have the reptilian brain, the limbic brain, midbrain, and upper brain. Okay, so the reptilian brain, based on reflex, generate commands. And this is actually super critical, okay? So this is actually not, we see this in the clinic, okay? So people with borderline personality or OCD or PTSD, a lot of times they have pending reptilian brain commands, okay? Reptilian brains, based on reflex, generate commands, and they are designed for life and death situations, okay? For trauma specifically. Right? For a bomb went off and I have no time, right? For I'm high speed going into a tree and the reptilian brain says, raise your hand, protect your face, but I didn't have a chance to do that. Then my hands will never be right. Okay? So pending reptilian brain commands is a very, very specific underlining issues for a lot of issues. If a person doesn't ever feel safe, potentially there's some trauma in the past that has pending reptilian brain commands. Okay? And then this thing goes to the limbic brain, and based on a set of triggers, it generates emotions. So in this society, we learn to manage emotions. Okay, we categorize emotions as positive or negative, and we end up having a lot of issue with emotional problems. Okay, all emotions are true based on triggers. All emotions, okay? If you have jealousy, you have hate, right? You have joy, you have, there's no positive and there's no negative emotions. All emotions are true. Emotions are to enable motion. Okay, emotion really is to get us to do something based on our internal state, okay? So the triggers have 3 properties at least, okay? They are protective, they are persistent, and they are global. Protective means the triggers are installed to protect us from things we don't want to, we don't want to experience. Okay. They are persistent means once it's installed, they do not go away until we transform them. And they are global means whoever installed this trigger, anything that's, that has similar attribute to the initial person, for example, my dad. Okay. So anybody who is in the authority figure, has control over me, telling me to do things, it will trigger exactly the same emotion. Okay? Yeah. Again, all triggers are protective. So there's no dark side, there's no evil side within anybody. Okay, this is one of the biggest things, in my opinion, okay, for our transformation, for our cultivation, is we feel there's an evil side within me, and somebody please take it out of me so I can be well. There's no evil side within me. there is only protection. Okay? All our emotions are true based on the emotions. Okay? And then it goes, ideally it goes to our midbrain, where it doesn't have a history. So the reflex, the triggers, and the knowledge, all these are database. Okay, we all learned this term called brain plasticity, right? So what does it really mean? That means there's something that we can change within our brain structure so we can function differently, okay? In 黄帝内经, chapter 13, 素问 13, okay? The chapter is actually, the title is Shifting Perspective and You Change Your Qi. Okay? So that is literally the title of 黄帝内经 素问 chapter 13. You change your perspective, you change your paradigm, you change how your channel works, you change your qi immediately. Channels really change immediately, instantaneously. Okay? If a dog starts chasing me, I'm not gonna wait until spring for my liver to be vibrant to run. I have to run right away. Okay? Channel change instantaneously. Okay? So, and then it goes to the midbrain. Okay? Midbrain has no database, has no history. Midbrain just connects directly to our heart. So when we say we live in the moment, we live in the moment, we live in the moment, we have to activate our midbrain. So the whole cultivation, you know, when we talk about cultivation, I mean, I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity to share, okay? Because cultivation, in my opinion, is really the key for everything. Yes?
Sorry, I just wanted to stop you to make sure it's recording. Or I don't know if you meant to start recording, but I'm not familiar with your phone, but I just wanted to.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So the goal for us as a living being, okay, people with cancer, PTSD, you know, who's going to die in the next 2 weeks, right? To me, the goal for that, okay, when I was going through school here, I asked every teacher, what do we do when a person is about to die? Okay, they all tell me, call 911, send it to the hospital, don't take patients like that. I say, why are we learning this in the first place, right? So today, I do take patients who are going to die. Terminally ill patients have 3 months to live, 3 weeks to live, 3 days to live. I will actually literally take them because there are still things we can do. Okay? We can still get a person to connect to loving kindness, activate their midbrain. So this is, and when we map to channels, this is our do channel. What we learn in school, the diagram is actually not correct. Okay? We learn the do channel goes from do one, right, through this path, goes through the top of our head, and then somehow goes into our mouth, right? During the day, it enters our midbrain from right here. Okay? Come out of the third eye, and then continue this path down. During the day, the do channel's job is to activate our midbrain. Do this right now, okay? Elevate your room one, just ever so slightly. Okay? Have a tremendous sense of purpose in your heart. And connect to loving kindness from your third eye. This is the very foundation of any cultivation. Get your do channel, get your ren channel to go up. When I have a purpose, my ren channel just flows. When I feel I'm connecting to loving kindness, the do channel connects through the midbrain, connect to the universe. So we're learning the first semester, we are in between heaven and earth, right? This is how we connect to heaven and earth, right now. We don't need to go high mountains. We can do this in any classroom, in any setting, in any condition. And I do have terminally ill patients, and they eventually die. But before they die, they will tell me, John, you know what? I'm not afraid of dying anymore because now I know how to live. Just by doing this. And through loving kindness, let's say we connect to loving kindness, and through loving kindness, we connect to our family. We connect to our loved ones' heart of gold. Not to their words, not to their behaviors, because then we worry. then there's no boundary to what we can do. Okay? Today, 4 years ago today, my dad passed away in my arms. I'm still connecting to him constantly, anytime I want. I do not have a sense of loss because loss is we lose connection. Okay? It's really that simple. Okay? When we can continue to connect anytime we want, there's no loss of connection. We still love unconditionally. And we still have this impeccable connection to our parents anytime we want. Okay, that is cultivation, right? Can anybody take this away from us? Does it take any more time to cultivate? No. So cultivation needs to be timeless, meaning we don't need to take any more time to do it, right? And because of that, it literally sinks from the conscious into the subconscious. Then it becomes timeless. We want to build a posture, not because, I have a good posture. No. We want to build a good posture so that eventually we have a good posture. I don't even have to concern about it. Why? Because it becomes a part of me. When do we do this? Anytime. Anytime we have an opportunity. When we sit, feel the sit bone. When we stand, feel both feet. It's really, honestly, it's really that simple, right? But if we put our mind to it, so mindfulness begins to come in, right? But anyway, midbrain connect to our do channel. So COVID-19 actually attacks this path. Okay, COVID-19 attacks 3 different areas. One is our large intestine 11. So when this is blocked, it blocks our sense of smell and taste because large intestine goes through our mouth, right? It blocks our sense of taste and smell. Another area is around the mid-back on the do channel. So when this is affected, shut down, we can't even go like this. Okay? It becomes very, very difficult. And what's even more deadly for COVID-19 is it blocks our midbrain. It literally shut down. It literally blocked the midbrain. It blocked the do path. Okay? So children, in the early COVID days, children actually have no issue because they continue to play. There's no fear. Until a few years later, all of a sudden, the kids getting COVID are very, very serious, very, very severe because fear comes in. Their do channel are not running anymore. They're not curious. They're not playful because they are filled with fear in the beginning. So it's very, very interesting. Okay, every virus has its signature on a very, very, very specific signature on our channel system. And then it's our left and right brain based on knowledge, our perspective, our culture, what's being taught. For example, in here, all students are like, okay, there's evil chi. Okay, there's no evil chi. Okay, and somehow we have to protect ourselves against evil chi. There's no evil chi. Evil chi is in the head. Okay, if we feel there's an evil chi before the patient comes, we're already affected. Okay, how do we resolve this? Is to be mindful of our own energy system, right? I elevate my Ren 1 ever so slightly. I have a purpose. Get my Ren channel to come up, right? I connect to loving kindness. Then evil chi, it's probably the worst translation in any literature, okay? This word evil, in Chinese, this is a character, okay? It just means it's not right. Okay? It's not proper, it's not upright. It's skewed, okay? Or it's out of balance, it's asymmetrical. Okay, so in Chinese medicine, it's actually filled with myth. Okay, so it's very, very important that we cultivate our first-hand experience. When we treat, we do not treat based on what we learn per book. Okay, everything we learn, in my opinion, okay, again, verify this yourself. Do not trust me. Okay, The key is to say, okay, liver qi stagnation, we learn liver qi stagnation. Do we have liver qi stagnation? Do we have dampness ourselves? And if we do, oh, wonderful. Because if we can resolve this, we have endless amount of patience. And we really know how to do this. Do I have dampness? And if I do, wonderful. Do we have menstruation issues? Right? Do I have sleep issues? Right? Anything that we have, apply Chinese medicine to it. Really apply what we learn. Do not become another student that goes through here 3 years, 4 years, and then graduate and hopefully get a license, but still maintain the exact same condition or even worse condition than they first came in. Because then we can conclude Chinese medicine is useless. Right? Chinese medicine is extremely powerful when we cultivate, when it becomes our true first-hand experience, when we apply it to not other people, but ourselves. So all these products, okay, judgment is actually a big thing. Okay, judgment can be internal to ourselves, or can be external to the world. Okay, the sense of injustice, the sense of I can never measure up to anything, right? Affect our channel greatly. Okay? And our channel in turn will affect our body and our thoughts. And all of a sudden, over time, this becomes a self-feeding loop. Midbrain actually sits in between, in my opinion, between the conscious, which accounts for about 5% of our brain capacity, and our subconscious, which is at least 95%. Okay, so midbrain sits in between. So it's very, very important that we recognize this. So when we hear people coming into the clinic and tell us what's going on, okay, hear things beyond the hearing, beyond what the words were trying to express. Then we start to get into the true medicine. The true medicine is actually in here. Okay? So when we start to cultivate, there are several things we need to do. Okay? In order to cultivate, we need a guiding principle. We need a set of guiding principles. Okay? And for me, I just have 4 little items. Okay, first there's unconditional love. It's everywhere. It's within us. It's outside of us. Unconditional love all the time, anytime we want. Okay, it's not like I'm praying to this incredible being, and hopefully he has time to reply to me and to answer my whatever question for prayers. Okay. No, unconditional love is everywhere. When I say I connect to unconditional love, I connect to I connect it right away. Okay, there's no delay. Just like our channels, there's no delay. Okay? Purpose. I have a purpose. Everyone has a purpose. Cancer has its purpose. PTSD has its purpose. Okay? Any condition has its purpose. Every experience that we ever have has a purpose. Okay? Human is the only being that questions why. Our purpose, right? We may be the smallest blade of grass, but we have just as much purpose as any trees, any sequoia trees. Do not question. I have a purpose doesn't mean I know what my purpose is. It just means I have one. We may never ever know what our purposes are, but it doesn't matter, right? Honestly, this changes a person right away. So in my clinic, honestly, to me, this is the biggest change. I have a purpose. That simply means I cannot be denied. I have a purpose. Can you see that brings a person from a sense of survival out of, to start to thrive? I have a purpose. I'm no longer bounded by other people's opinion. I do not need others' confirmation and approval and everything else because I have a purpose. We have to understand, in the modern, so-called modern society, from kindergarten, our sense of purpose, our sense of the sense of choice is being taken away every day. Okay. I remember when my daughter was 5, she goes to kindergarten, and she loves school. Okay. She has an older brother, so she's very familiar with all the school things. Right. She went that morning, and I remember very clearly. She came home very angry. I said, "Look, what's going on? You love school." She said, "I was drawing, and the teacher says time to read." Okay? If you are a good child, you go read. But for certain people, especially people who are picture thinkers, right? They already have this picture in mind, and they need to finish it. And they bother her to no end. Okay? The school is actually set up to follow. So if we follow, we're good people, we're nice students, we're good students. We're great, wonderful students. Okay? But our sense of thriving is being taken away because we need to be nice. That's the very start of literacy stagnation. So that's why I say, okay, literacy stagnation is present in everything we see. It's almost a guarantee. Okay? To me, it's present just about every patient that we see. It's probably present in all the practitioners that I ever met. Okay? Because we're trying to follow something. So the key is so important that we have a sense of purpose. I have a purpose. So if I have a condition right now, okay, I used to, well, I was expelled from high school 3 times. Okay, I had a motorcycle accident when I was 17. I almost broke my neck. Okay, I have an accident on my back, on my hip. Okay, and I have other emotional things. All these things become my biggest assets because I embrace them. There's a purpose why I had all these things. Okay, make our sense of, you know, if we have a sense of misfit, okay, that we don't really fit this bell curve in the society, embrace ourselves. Only the misfit has the potential to transform the world. Okay? Because they don't fit. Okay? This can be a huge purpose. If all your life you just feel like, I don't fit, and I try to go into Chinese medicine, I still don't feel fit. I still feel like, what are they talking about? It doesn't really resonate with me. Follow your heart, please. Okay? I'm not asking you to follow what I'm presenting right now, but please follow your heart. You know, build your own framework, right? Construct your own, you know, sense of guiding principles. And just follow it. And you spend time cultivating, you get your own stuff. You be thriving. And that's exactly what the world needs. The world doesn't need another person who knows how to put needles in specific places based on specific conditions. We need people who are willing to say, this is, I'm following my heart. I'm cultivating. I'm sharing my own first-hand experience. Not something I read, not something somebody put it down on some book at some point based on certain conditions. No, I take it, I look at it, you know, I try to understand it, then I try to map within myself with my own first-hand experience. This is my interpretation. Then we're practicing what's true to us, and that to me is so important. And that is the very essence of thriving. We are doing what's true within us. Okay? So purpose, okay? The next thing is heart goal. Everyone has a heart goal. Everyone. Okay? To me. Okay? This is my guiding principle. Everyone has a heart goal. Okay? I have people coming in to say, you know what? I was abused when I was a child. I don't know who my dad was. Okay? My mom probably didn't even know. Okay? And I have, you know, when I was young, I have, you know, men just come into to the house all the time, abuse me physically, emotionally, and beyond. Okay, when I grew up, I do the same thing to other people. Do I still have a chance? Okay, I look at him and I say, man, you still have a heart of gold that can never ever be changed. Okay, so there's a little diagram here in the back. Okay, it basically says, we got like the 3 little people there, right? So one of the cultivation that to me is very, very critical is the 3 words, okay? Sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Okay? Sympathy has a lot of issues, okay? What we learn most of the time is sympathy, okay? We're learning to be LAC, right? And we're going to see patients. What we're going to do is we're going to help them, right? This is sympathy, okay? And we think because we know better, somehow the energy will go one way. No. Energy always goes both ways. Okay? So if we have sympathy and we have empathy, which is our ability to mirror other people's pain, emotional or physical, then we're going to become what's called wounded healers. Okay? Empathy is a really, really great skill. A lot of people have it. Okay? But because they add sympathy to it, eventually they have to disconnect. So I don't want this anymore. Okay? A lot of people in Chinese medicine school or in the healing field, for example, in the medical field, they actually have this huge, it's almost like they have this need to serve. So I just want to serve, okay? But we change it around and say, I want to help. Then we're going into the sympathy realm. When we help, we need to provide something. We need to know better. Okay? There's no knowing better. I have patients come in, right, highly recommended by other people, right, MD and stuff like that. And when she came in, she said, I said, well, what can we do together? And she said, you tell me. People say you're really good. Okay. And I said, well, do you have digestion issue? Right? And she said, you got it. Right? I have SIBO. Right? And I actually asked her, it's like, what is SIBO? And she looked at me like I was crazy. It's like, you don't know what SIBO is? I said, I have no idea. It's the first time I ever heard this. Right? It's actually what's called a small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Okay? It's a very, very serious condition, right? And it's very, very hard to treat. Right? And I look at her and I say, you are highly sympathetic. Okay? Do you have trouble with your parents? I say, I hate my parents. I've been trying to, and she's actually a psychologist. Okay? And I say, you're in high sympathetic mode. In high sympathetic mode, you're not supposed to be able to digest, to absorb, to eliminate, to have all these functions. Okay? Do we need to know illness, symptoms, to truly serve? No. Right? Know the big picture. When a person is in sympathetic mode, they're not supposed to do a lot of things. Their blood pressure will be high. Their blood glucose will be high. Their heart rate will be high. Why? Because they're in sympathetic mode. You see what? How can we put ourselves in sympathetic mode? When we resist. When we have issues with something. We automatically put ourselves in sympathetic mode. Okay? So that little diagram, okay, so when we see our patients, what do we do, right? When we have the opportunity to serve people, what do we do, right? Honestly, run one, right? Purpose in our heart, connect to loving kindness, and through that, connect to our patients or anybody's heart of gold. If we have kids and we worry, if we have parents that we worry, if we have patients that we care about, connect to their heart of gold. It's their journey. If we're being affected, we become a candle in the wind, right? Guess what? We're not effective. It's not empowering. When we have nothing but worry, we're not empowering. Okay? So the key is this, okay? So part of the cultivation is to say, okay, I have all these things on a daily basis. I have this relationship with my parents. I have this relationship within this, with my spouse, with my kids, with my dog, with whatever, in school, right, with the teachers, and what do I do, right? We have everything we need to cultivate right now because we're all living life. To cultivate is to live a life, okay? We do not need to go beyond what we already have to cultivate. Please, okay? So that's what I do, okay? So the key is not to spend any more time in cultivation, but be mindful, like, okay, whatever condition I'm in, can I use it? What's the most important thing I can do based on what I have right now, okay? So when we ask a question, keep this in mind, okay? What's the most empowering thing I can do right now? We automatically activate our midbrain. Because the left and right brain knows right and wrong. It doesn't understand empowering. Okay, when we're being tested in school, it's not going to be, you know, based on this condition, what's the most empowering answer? Okay, there's no such, you know, we're not being tested that way. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, we're being tested based on right or wrong answers, right? As if life is all about right and wrong. Okay. Yeah. So keep this in mind, okay? So when we are in the clinic, right? Let's say we're seeing patients or doing things or we're interacting with, you know, other people. Give this a shot, okay? Try this for a week and see how it goes. Okay, elevate the run one. I have a purpose. I connect to loving kindness and I connect to the other person's heart of gold. Okay. When I was first cultivating this, I actually make every door my cue. Okay? Every time I go into a door or come out of the door, right? Every time I pass through a door, I will literally do that. I will say, I connect, I connect, I connect. This way I do not feel small. Okay? I can be in the presence of, you know, people with 30 years of experience or people with zero experience, right? I do not feel small and I do not feel big. I just, because I connect to other people's particles. Okay, I think that's pretty much all the time I have. Okay, so I want to talk about something that's that we can do right now. Okay, so everybody should have something like this. Okay, so this is what they call a jack knobber. So you can pick one here, and a little stick. Okay. So allow me to talk about liver qi stagnation for a second. Okay. So liver qi stagnation is not a liver problem. Okay. Let me repeat that. Okay. Liver qi stagnation is not a liver problem. Okay. When you read the pulse and the liver is tight. Okay. They say, oh, liver qi stagnation, then pretty much it automatically goes to liver 3. Liver 3 drains liver. Okay? Liver qi stagnation has a liver access condition, but if you read the lung pulse will be weak. Okay? Liver qi stagnation is because the liver channel, the mighty liver channel, right, that, or like a river, is supposed to come from the big toe through here, right, through the genital area, has to go through the chest. It was not allowed to flow through the chest. So it caused a flood condition right here, right? Getting into our stomach, getting to our spleen, right? Getting to the gallbladder. That is the liver qi stagnation. It's not a liver problem. It's like I flush the toilet and all the water comes out. I do not replace the toilet right there. Somewhere there's a blockage. The blockage is right here, okay? If you go to PC1, the mechanism to block the liver is through pericardium 1. Okay, one turn next to the nipple in between 4th and 5th rib. Okay, if you press it and it pains like hell, you have liver qi stagnation, and congratulations. Okay, it's actually right next to the nipple. Okay, yeah. Okay. If you have liver qi stagnation and you're in Chinese medicine school, congratulations. okay? Because when you can truly resolve this, if you have liver qi stagnation, you're gonna have dampness, guaranteed. Dampness allegedly is the hardest thing to treat in Chinese medicine, but in my opinion, it's probably the easiest thing to do. When we realize it's not an issue, it's because the liver doesn't go through. It does not energize your lung channel, okay? So use this, find these points, right? When you find the pain, follow the pain. Please, follow the pain, okay? Part of the cultivation is to find the pain and embrace it. And truly honor it, embrace it, okay? Love ourselves. Cultivation is a journey of self-love. Tremendous unconditional self-love. Again, liver qi stagnation is not a liver problem. Okay? I cannot overemphasize this. The chronic use of liver 3 drains liver qi and causes long-term lung channel issues. You hear people coughing and they have flames that they just couldn't get rid of. You know, you can see this, okay? You can hear this in the clinic. Okay, I'll allow you to explore this, okay? But keep this in mind. Again, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to examine this, okay? Put it into yourself. Find yourself pain spots, okay? Again, if you have menstruation issues and you find this pain, wonderful, okay? For women, women has a huge advantage that pretty much when there's still a menstruation every month, you have an indicator. You can experiment and truly see, okay? See if it makes a difference. And if it does, you have endless amount of patients that you can truly serve, okay? So this is this, okay? Use this on the, put it, on your bedside, okay? Find your belly button, okay? Go one direction and go the other direction, okay? Find your rib, okay? Get into your liver a little bit, right? And feel it, okay? This is our biggest area for lymphatic flow, okay? If this is not proper, you're gonna have tremendous amount of dampness. Tremendous amount, okay? Because the dampness is basically being removed. The only way to remove dampness is through the lymphatic system, okay? So if we combine these 3 circulation systems, our channel, right, which go through, I have a purpose, right? I connect to loving kindness, right? And I have a heart of gold, and I'm making my choice, key, okay? Gotta get our choice back, okay? Choice, behind the sense of choice, there's this anger, which is honorable anger, become our courage, okay? And courage becomes the force behind this thriving sense of, myself. Okay? I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here. I cannot be denied. Okay? So in Chinese, there's a beautiful phrase. Okay? So this is 100 flowers blooming. This is blooming, okay? And that's anger, or courageously, or striving. Okay, it's like when you see a bush, right, and the flowers are like, boom, they're just filled with flowers. There's no apology. This is my time to shine. Okay, there's a reason why I'm here. Okay, truly honor that sense of I am thriving. I have a purpose. Okay. This little stick here. Okay. So there's so many use for this thing. Okay, that's why I ordered 2,000 from somewhere. So I give it to every patient of mine. Find anything. Okay, your LR11, right? Find pain spots. Okay, when you find your own pain spots, and again, the method is very simple. You find your pain spots, and what? Embrace it. Okay, it's part of you. Okay, there's a reason why there's pain. See, now we're seeing beyond pain, but first we need to embrace it. We're seeing beyond emotions, but first we need to embrace them. Right? So it's the same methodology. Okay, the same approach. Nothing but love. Okay, that's the essence of cultivation. Cultivation is not, oh my gosh, I am no good. No, that's not cultivation. Okay, that's self-stabbing. Okay, cultivation is truly like, oh wow, I have this. Huh? I'm gonna learn from this. There's a reason for it. Right? So this is this. Okay, this little stick. For people that have arthritis, for example, okay, we're going to see a lot of this in the clinic. Okay, I have patients who have trigger finger plus, tremendous arthritis. Okay, 90 some years old. That year there's Summer Olympics. Okay, she has scheduled for her trigger finger surgeries. She did this for the entire, Olympic, and she was fine. Okay, so what we're doing is we increase the circulation to the extremities. All these are the end of our channels. Okay, so there are 3 circulatory systems, right? 2 are known by the Western medicine, right? So we have the blood circulation, we have the lymphatic circulation. Chinese medicine introduced qi circulation in terms of channels, right? This includes all 3 circulation systems. This brings qi to the extremities, okay? You can use this in a lot of places, okay? So you can use this on your neck, okay? You go back a little bit, wiggle this a little bit. You really, really supercharge your du channel, okay? When you use your hands, okay, you're in touch with what's going on now, okay? You can tell, anyway, so, and then you can use it on the body, okay? You can use it on the calves, okay, like that, okay? For people who are damp, when you start to roll this, you may feel like, oh wow, my hand is just filled with moisture. In the beginning, it might be cold, it might be hot, but when you keep doing this, it's going to start to become neutral, right? And the dampness will start to go away, okay? And finally, what I want to talk about is this, okay? So we can integrate all this with Tui knot. Okay, if you have the opportunity, hold somebody. Okay, when I was in the school, I actually make it that's kind of my cultivation goal, is I would touch 5 people a day. So at that time, it's in person all the time. Okay, so at that time, I will actually literally touch 5 people a day. You may spend 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or maybe just 1 second. Okay, but I want to feel. Okay, so when you can hold somebody, okay. For example, you hold somebody's hand. Okay, hold the right hand, hold the left hand. When you hold, really feel the centeredness and the balance and the connection that you have. Okay, we're not sacrificing our body and soul for the benefit of another person. Everything is mutual. When we connect properly, everything is mutual. Okay, I think my time is up. I appreciate this setting. Okay. The opportunity to share. Thanks guys. So I'm gonna just turn this off, and if there's any question, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you. You can keep